Yeah, Pink, week 2 of the SEC grind. Looking forward to having the opportunity to come back home Wednesday against a very good LSU team.
Our first question is from Parrish Alford of the Daily Journal.
Hey, Andy. After the game Saturday, you talked about the possibility of using your young players more, particularly on the front line. Do you still feel that way, and have you thought about what minutes might look like for that group?
We're still evaluating that, Parrish. I have not been as pleased with our production as we need to be as a frontline unit. I thought in the second half we got good production out of a number of our young guys, namely Dwight Colby, who's just now getting back into form after an early leg injury that set him behind, and I thought Anthony Perez helped us some at the 4. We've played Anthony in a number of different positions in his 2 years here. We've played him some on the wing, and we felt like his ability at the 4 position to give us more versatility, not only offensively, but he was very active with 6 rebounds as well, is something that we'll continue to experiment with.
Thanks.
Next is Matt Harris of the Baton Rouge Advocate.
Morning, Andy. How are you?
Hey, Matt.
I was just going to ask, obviously Marshall gets a lot of attention, but Jarvis has sort of come on strong this year. It seems like his mid-range game, at least from the shooting percentages, seems to have been something that's added to the offense. What did he do in the offseason to sort of, shore up what he can do when he's not at the rim or not shooting the 3? How's he sort of maybe added some diversity to his game?
Well, I think Jarvis has unquestionably been our MVP to this point in the season, and as he's evolved into a junior in our program, I think first and foremost, having been in the program 3 years, physically he's stronger than he's ever been, which enables him to make the plays both physically and from an experience standpoint, having gone through the battles that he's endured. I think now we're starting to see him play like the all-league player that we think he's capable of being. Percentage-wise, he's taking better shots. He's stronger so that he can finish through contact, and he really worked in the off-season of knocking down open looks. When he plays with Marshall, one thing that we missed in our first 2 SEC games was the spacing that Marshall creates while he's on the floor. Not only is our leading scorer at about 19 a game and shooting close to 40% for 3, which are pretty effective numbers, but the spacing that he creates because of his presence and his ability to stretch the defense, and I think Jarvis has done a good job of playing in those gaps.
Mm-hmm. With sort of him coming back into the mix, how do you sort of, continue to allow Jarvis to play with that kind of scorer's mentality, but also balance the distribution aspect? His assist numbers have stayed fairly consistent too. It seems like you mentioned making the right decisions. It seems like he's balanced that out fairly well, even if his, shooting load has gone up this year.
Well, we've played Jarvis at a number of different spots. When Marshall's not here, he plays predominantly off the ball, and Derek Millinghouse's numbers go up tremendously in lieu of Marshall's absence. With Marshall back, we'll continue to play Jarvis off the ball at times when Derek's in the game, but he'll go back to more of a lead guard mentality when he's with Marshall in setting the floor for our team, running our team, and then continuing to be aggressive offensively. We've played 3 games without Marshall, and we've played 12 with him. So I think he'll be able to come back pretty seamlessly and fit right back into what we were doing prior to his absence.
All right, understood. Hey, thanks so much, Andy.
Thank you.
Next up is Chandler Rome of the Daily Reveille.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
Hey, good morning.
I had a question about the 2 LSU freshmen, Jarrell Martin and Jordan Mickey. What do you guys have to do on the inside to contain them, especially a guy like Martin who came off the bench on Saturday, can play either the 3 or the 4?
Well, they're really, really talented, maybe as talented a front line as there is in our league, with those 2 combined with Johnny O'Brien, who's probably the best back-to-basket scorer in our league. Tremendous challenges. We've got to be very physical. We've got to keep our bodies on them because we can't come into this game thinking that we're just going to out-jump them or out-reach them. They're all long and they're athletic, so we've got to be very physical upon the point of attack. We call it first blood. We've got to try to get them first in order to get to the ball first because of their tremendous athleticism, and they are very versatile, as you said. When you play those 3 guys together, with Martin playing the 3, it's a long, athletic front line, so we know they're going to pose a number of different challenges for us.
All right, thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
Next up is Randy Rosetta of the New Orleans Times-Picayune.
Hey, Andy, actually, Chandler just stole my thunder there. I was going to ask you about the inside game, so I'll see you Wednesday.
Okay.
Hugh Kellenberger of the Jackson Clarion Ledger.
Hey, Andy. You mentioned Johnny O'Brien just a second ago. You obviously recruited him really heavily. How much is it that miss hurt in retrospect not having him in your program now to be a guy that could have replaced Murphy and Reg?
Oh, very painful. We spent a lot of time and energy recruiting Johnny. You know, he's just up the road from us. We knew he was going to be a tremendous talent, and nothing that he has done at LSU has been surprising to me. I felt like that he was a guy that was going to come in and have a chance to make an immediate impact, which he did as a freshman. As he evolved into his sophomore season, he was an all-league caliber player as we anticipated, and now he's one of the best front court guys in all of college basketball. So I'm proud to see him develop. He's a good kid from a good family. I certainly wish he was wearing the red, white, and blue on Wednesday.
And also, Derek had a uptick in his production without Marshall. How difficult is it to get him the shots he needs to get into a rhythm, and also, Jarvis and Marshall have to get theirs as well?
Well, I think you just take what the game gives you. You know, you can't preset. It's one of our issues, Hugh, honestly, is sometimes we want to try to predetermine who's going to do what, when, and where. Basketball doesn't work like that. You have to put yourself in a position. You have to always be ready, and you have to take what the game gives you. You know, Derek, for instance, makes 3 of his first 4 field goals in Starkville on Saturday and was in a very good rhythm, and as a result, we took an early lead. Those same shots appeared late in the game, and we weren't able to knock them down, and that ultimately is the difference in winning and losing. He finishes the game 5 for 17 from the floor after starting 3 for 4, so you don't have to be a math major to realize that he wasn't as efficient at the end as we would have hoped he would have been.
Thanks.
Our last question is from Jerry Tipton of the Lexington Herald-Leader.
Andy, one of the coaches earlier on the teleconference was talking about the impact Marshall can make as a competitor, suggesting that he can have a positive effect or make his teammates more competitive. What do you think of that?
I would hope, Jerry, I challenge the guys every day that fire needs to burn internally. If they're waiting for me to motivate them every day, then I think we're all missing the boat. Marshall, I think that the advantages he brings to us with him returning on Wednesday is first and foremost his ability to put the ball in the basket, and then secondly, his ability to be in the focal point of LSU scouting report. I'm not going to I won't be in Johnny's film session today, even though I wish I could be. Maybe I could learn a few things. But I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of Marshall Henderson conversation. And when you don't have him, then the focus shifts to others. And, sometimes guys are second or third options for a reason. There's a lot of people that want to be Batman, but they need to be Robin. And we need to get Batman back so that then we can play off the spacing that Marshall creates. And he'll be back with us on Wednesday, and I'm sure he'll be excited to start SEC play his senior year.